Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Rifat Akhter from Department of Sociology, University of Central Arkansas. The title of my paper is Impacts of Global Economy on Women's Labor Force Participation in the Developing. The objective of this research is to explore how the global economy increases gender inequality in the access to secondary level education and in the different sectors of the formal labor force. The history of gender and development is interwoven with the history of policy intervention in the third world countries. Scholarship on global economy has concentrated primarily on developing nations, also known as periphery nations. One reason for this focus may be the meaning of globalization. The term globalization or global economy has replaced the term development, not because it links developed and developing countries broadly, but because globalization is regarded as a political intervention that aims to overcome the limitation of development. Therefore, the dominant discourse of globalization scholarship has two commonalities: discussion of the economic restructuring of third world countries and the underrepresentation of gender in the discussion of global economy. Previous research on women's position in the global economy has noted that the global economy not only promotes unequal relationships among different countries around the world, but also increases gender inequality through male biased development projects and programs. The global economy has segregated labor markers horizontally by gender, with women and men in the different occupational roles. It has also segregated the labor force vertically, with women concentrated in the lowest paid, least protected, and least powerful positions. Policy planners argue women's low wage may stimulate short-term export expansions and technological change, which may contribute to economic growth. Hence, economic growth may bring disparate economic benefits for women and can disrupt women's traditional source of livelihood. For example, in Africa, the introduction of cash crop production and agricultural machine has brought drastic changes in Africa's social structure. Imported cheap rice brings down the price of domestic grown rice, mostly grown by women, causing women's own crops to decrease in importance. Women do not receive a good price for their crops. In Kenya, many women who earned income from sisal bags are now out of business because of cheaper imitation bags imported from Southeast Asia. A global trade system does not exclude women completely. Women's share in the labor force has increased up to 60 to 90% in the last 20 years of trade liberalization. However, commercial agriculture always hires women on temporary contracts. Countries that produce clothes, electronics, and toys have more women working in those industries than men. Women's restricted bargaining power lowers women's wage, which lowers the price and increases the consumption for those products. Women have problems accessing educational institutions because of the conflicting signals from market regarding female education. Some factory work requires reading and writing skills, but at the same time, multinational corporations create seasonal jobs for women. As a result, parents prefer to send their daughter to factories and plantations before they finish their primary education so that their daughters can contribute to family economy before. The main research question of this project is what impacts global economy variables have on the economic development and gender equality in education and the formal labor force in the developing countries. For this, I have used two theories on global economy, development, and gender inequality. One is modernization theory, and another one is world system theory. Modernization theorists discussed capitalist society as modern and traditional societies are underdeveloped. Underdeveloped countries need to adopt the Western technology, institution, and belief systems to improve their economic conditions. While mainstream modernization theories focus on a country's development, feminist world-system theorists or modernization theorist reformers have incorporated women's contribution in the economy and use the term women in development, emphasizing equal opportunities for women regarding access to education, training, property, credit, and better living. World-system theorists, on the other hand, focused on unequal and exploitative economic relation between core and periphery regions, and they argued that this is the main reason for underdevelopment of periphery regions. It explains how nation-states and regions interact with one another and how their socioeconomic ties to industrial countries through unequal trade, aid, and diplomatic relations and military intervention have resulted in underdevelopment. While mainstream world system theories focused on the relationship between core and periphery, feminist world system theorists have focused on gender stratification and segregation in a given society and argue women's power diminishes as they shift from the core of production to the periphery production with development. Dependencies of developing regions on the developed regions influence the gender composition of national labor markets. The feminization of labor has become an essential component of global restructuring, where women experience a deterioration of their work conditions, for example, working for long hours, few breaks, constant pressure to finish work, and unhealthy workplace. For this research, I have used a research design that combined leg cross-sectional and cross-sectional analysis. The dependent variable of this study is gender inequality in education and labor force, which are measured at a recent point in time, and is regressed on independent variables, some of which are measured at earlier points in time, 1980 and 1990. The lag period is Krisha 1980 for foreign direct investment, commodity concentration, and export dependency, and Krisha 1990 for economy. I have used ordinary least square regressions to examine the direct effects of independent variables on gender equality in education and formal labor force. The sample for this research consists of 45 developing nation states. The dependent variables of this study are ratio of females in the gross enrollment at secondary level education relative to male, ratio of females in the labor force relative to males, ratio of females in the agricultural labor force relative to males, ratio of female in the service labor force relative to males, and ratio of females in the industrial labor force males. The global economic variables are commodity concentration, exports of goods and services as a percentage of GDP, foreign direct investment as a percentage of GDP. Development variables are gross domestic product per capita, logged for skewness. In the findings indicate that after controlling for economic development, global economy variables have significant but variable direct effects on gender equality in education. Among global economy variables, foreign direct investment has significant positive effects on female share of education, female share of the service sector, but negative effects on female share of the formal and agriculture sector. Commodity concentration has negative effects on female share of education and the formal agricultural and industrial sectors, but increases female share of the service sector. Export dependency also has negative effects on females' education and female share of agricultural sector, and increases female share of the industrial sectors and female share of the service. There's one important policy implication of this research. Policy planners of World Bank and International Monetary Fund need to realize that reconstructing a nation-state's economy in the name of structural adjustment program or poverty reduction program by asking the government to focus on one or two export-oriented cash crop or manufacturing product lowers women's access to education and labor force. Thus, foreign investment has negative impacts on women's access to agriculture and industrial labor force if commodity concentration for their country is high. Thank you very much.